Long time ago, in a quiet place in the woods, lived the Atubi people. Tito Fadairo lived with her mother. She is an only child. Her mother, Jumoke, raised her all by herself. She has never met her father. Every time she asked her mother about her father, she would always change the subject. Jumoke Fadairo has a moi store near the market. The villagers and travelers couldn't get enough of her leaf-wrapped moi delicacy. It was on a league of its own. Tito assists by attending to the customers while her mother makes the moi preparation. Life was good until a young man called Jide found his way into Tito's heart. He showered her with gifts and adoration. He bombarded her with attention and affection. Tito was in love. She could not picture her life without Jide. Jumoke was scared for her daughter. The relationship was moving too fast. Jumoke couldn't shake the bad feelings that Jide was not the right man for her daughter. She tried so hard to like Jide, but something about him always rubbed her the wrong way. Jumoke warned Tito about Jide. She said, "My daughter, a mother's instinct is never wrong. I think you should slow things down and get to know each other better." Being Tito's first relationship, she was naive about men and how they behave. She tried to call things off with Jide. However, he is very slick like a snake. He threatened to kill himself if she ever left him. He cried and hit himself several times. He said, "Tito, I can't live without you. I love you wholeheartedly. Your mother is just jealous of our love. She is afraid of losing you to me. Please, Tito, don't leave me." He wept profusely like a child. Tito translated his action to sincerity. She felt deep down he truly loved her. She decided to continue seeing Jide without her mother's consent. Tito began to sneak out of the house and shop to visit Jide. At first, they would hang out under the lemon tree close to the forest. They later moved their meeting point to the river bank. One fateful day, Jide suggested that they should meet in his house instead. He said, "I don't like how we sit under the tree all the time. Sometimes people notice us when they are walking by, and I'm afraid one of them might tell on us. Let's meet in my house from now henceforth." Tito was hesitant at first. She said, "I don't think that's a good idea. You know it is forbidden for an unmarried woman and a man to be alone in a closed room without a chaperone. I don't think we should do that." Jide replied, "Don't you trust me, my love? You know I won't do anything to hurt you intentionally." Tito naively believed his every word. Jide promised to leave the door opened anytime she comes visiting. "That was reassuring to hear," responded Tito. The following week, Tito started sneaking into Jide's house when his parents were not there. This went on for quite some times. Jide knew for certain that he had Tito where he wanted her. She trusted him wholeheartedly. Jumoke noticed how Tito would go missing without a valid reason. Even when she was sent on an errand, Tito would take forever to return back home. Jumoke was worried about what could have been going on with Tito. She asked if she was sick or in any form of trouble. Tito reassured her mother that it was nothing serious. She eventually lied about her whereabouts. She told her mother that she had been helping her friend Koinsola, whose mother was ill. However, one raining day at exactly 3 p.m., Tito deliberated about whether to go to Jide's house or not. She knew the roads would be slippery and flooded, yet she does not want to disappoint Jide. She lied to her mother that she was going to drop off some moi moi for Koinsola. Her mother advised her to wait till the rain stopped. Tito disagreed. She said, "This rain might not stop for the whole day, Mama. Let me go quickly and rush back home." Jumoke noticed her mind was made up. Regardless of this, Tito left. As soon as she walked into Jide's house, Jide hugged and started kissing her. Tito tried to push him off her, but his hold was too strong. He continued to caress her breast, pushing her towards a bamboo bed. Tito started crying. She kept on repeating, "No, Jide, stop. Jide, please stop. Please stop." Jide ignored her plea. He proceeded to pin her down on the bed and forcefully entered her. Tito was powerless at this point. She had lost all her will to fight him off. She went blank. All she could do was stare at the roof while Jide continued pounding into her like a fierce animal. After he had satisfied himself, he got himself a cup of water from the pot. He looked happy. Meanwhile, Tito was shivering, shocked, and in disbelief. Jide said, "See what you've been missing, Tito. Now you have become a woman. Come here, my love." Tito pushed his hand off her. She responded, "Jide, how could you? How could you do this to me without my consent? You know this is a taboo. We are not even married. Why did you have to destroy my life like that?" Jide interrupted her and said, "Which rubbish taboo? How did I destroy your life? I merely teach you how to enjoy life, and please don't you dare pretend like you didn't enjoy it." Tito was furious at this point. She said, "Have you gone mad? You practically forced yourself on me. I begged you to stop several times. You totally ignored my plea. How does that resonate to me enjoying it? It is called rape. You sexually assaulted me, Jide." Jide's reaction became very dark. He said in a cold, scary voice, "Look here, it is not a rape because we are in a relationship. But I really do like you. That's why I took my time. I really do see myself marrying you maybe in the future, but I could not help myself today. You are not the person I was expecting, and you are not the first person I've done this with. So what's the big deal?" Tito replied, "You raped me because you couldn't help yourself. Isn't that the most insane reason?" Jide replied, "First of all, I wasn't expecting you. I was expecting Dupe. I wasn't expecting you to show up, but here you are. What do you think would happen if you visited a man on a raining day? Are you dumb or something? Did I drag you here? You came in here purposefully for this, so please drop the act." Tito screamed. She struggled with her skirt and made her way towards the door. Jide pulled her back and said, "Where do you think you are going? I'm not done with you." Tito jaw dropped. Jide threw her onto the bed and had his way with her over and over again. Bruised and broken, Tito found her way out of Jide's house. She hid in the forest till it was dark. Cold and shocked, Tito found her way home. She curled up on her bed and slept off. Her mother came in and found her where she was sleeping. She tried to cover her with a blanket, but Tito jumped on her and tried to attack her. Her mother was in shock, but frantically said, "Tito, it's me, Jumoke, your mother. Did you have a bad dream?" Tito refused to speak. Her mother noticed the bruises on her body. She tried to get her to talk, but Tito wouldn't budge. Tito refused to eat or drink. She stayed in bed and stared at the ceiling all day. This went on for days. Her mother Jumoke stopped going to her shop so she could watch over her daughter. One evening, Jumoke walked into Tito's room and found her with a knife. She quickly jumped and rushed towards Tito and grabbed the knife from her. Jumoke said, "Enough of this. You need to talk to me. I can tell something terrible happened to you. I need you to trust me by sharing it with me. I promise to support you. You are the most important thing to me in this world. So please, let me help you, Tito." For the first time in almost 3 weeks, Tito cried. She later confided in her mother about what had transpired. She blamed herself for not listening to her mother's advice. Jumoke reassured her it was never her fault. Jide was just an unfortunate animal who preyed on naive young women. Jumoke was quiet for a while. Finally, she announced, "Let me tell you about my life story and why I always avoid talking about your father." She informed Tito how she had lost her parents when she was just 10 years old in a boat accident. Her uncle had taken her in. However, her uncle's wife was a very wicked woman who starved and maltreated her. The uncle sexually assaulted her for more than 8 years till she finally summoned courage and ran away from home. She explained how she had to sleep in the bushes and sometimes at the market at night until a kind moi seller called Denola took her in. Denola taught her how to make moi. Jumoke was cared for like her own daughter, although Denola has 2 children of her own. Jumoke fell in love with Tunde, Denola's first son. They got married as custom required. A month after her wedding, her unfortunate uncle found her. He forcefully tried to take her back with him. A tussle broke out between her evil uncle and Tunde. but sadly, Tunde lost his life in the process. Denola had no choice but to send Jumoke away to avoid losing her second son. Jumoke said, I ran away from that life. I found out I was pregnant a week later. I started a new life here where you were born. I don't like talking about my past. It hurts so much. That's why I always avoid talking about your father. Jumoke encouraged her daughter to eat. She also said, I survived my uncle. So can you survive that wretched bastard? It might take some time, but trust me, we will get through this together. Tito, be rest assured, the gods will punish Jide. Jide will meet his karma soon. Meanwhile, Jide had started a new full-blown relationship yet again with Darasimi, the cassava seller's daughter. Jumoke focused all her energy on getting her daughter back to a better place. She cried privately and blamed herself for not protecting Tito enough. One fateful evening, Darasimi was invited by Jide to meet at the lemon tree by the forest. Darasimi, just like Tito, sneaked into the forest to meet him. As soon as Darasimi sat next to Jide, he began touching and kissing her. At first, Darasimi played along. However, when Jide pushed her back to the ground and tore her blouse off, she begged him to stop, but Jide refused. She screamed and kicked him in his nuts. She took off into the forest. She was found by two farmers. She informed them about what had happened. The farmers raised an alarm. Jide was found and dragged out of the forest, further through the village square. He was beaten mercilessly at the palace, where he was thrown into a dungeon. His parents rushed to the palace once they were informed about their son's outrageous behavior. They were ashamed of him. Jide blamed the devil for possessing his body. 7 days later, the king asked if any of the ladies had ever been sexually assaulted by Jide. However, none of the 11 ladies that were raped dares to step forward to speak out. The fear of being stigmatized held them back. Jide refused to take accountability for his actions. He denied all the allegations and claimed he was forcefully accused. He lied that his only sexual misconduct was with Darasimi, but thankfully, he did not succeed. The chief priest maintained Jide was lying. The king ordered the chief priest to shrink Jide's manhood. Jide pleaded to be pardoned. He promised not to sexually assault anyone ever again in his lifetime. The king agreed he won't be able to sexually assault anyone because his manhood won't be able to commit any crimes. Jide was touched with a charm by the chief priest. His manhood shrunk to the size of a peanut right in the presence of the old Atubi villagers. The king announced, this should serve as an example for those of you having crazy ideas of sexually assaulting women in my village. You will be caught and judgment will be served. Jide and his family were banished from Atumbi village. Jumoke was sad for Jide's parents, but she concluded Jide was never a good person. This was his karma. A few weeks later, Jumoke reopened her moi moi shop. She had been greatly missed by her customers. Jumoke noticed a surprisingly change in Tito's mood. She has begun to regain her confidence. Gradually, Tito had become more cheerful. Tito started teaching the young ladies of Atumbi village about how to conduct themselves in a relationship with a man. She advised them not to meet any man without their parents' permission or consent. She urged them to make better choices to avoid falling into the traps of praise. Few years later, Tito and Prince Kayode of Atumbi became friends, which later developed into a relationship. They got married a couple of months later. Tito was treated with respect, love, and affection. They had 3 children and lived a very peaceful, happy life together. Meanwhile, Jide lived with his parents in a new village. He never got married nor was he able to have any children. He lived every day with regrets. The moral of the story is that rape is to be frowned upon in the society. If your partner doesn't give you the consent to engage in sexual activity, please refrain from taking it further, regardless of whether you're in a relationship or not. No means no. And stop means stop. which means you shouldn't take it further. Thank you so much for watching. See you on the next episode. Odabo, the end.